Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Megan and I'm a professional writer and editor and an aspiring author. Today I want to talk about something that I used to find very unexciting, but these days I'm a nerd for them, and that is comps or comparable titles. We'll talk about what they are, why you need them, how to find them, what you do with your comps, and common problems that we as authors tend to run into when we're looking for comps. Right on cue, he starts to pace. As always, I'm sharing what I've learned on my own journey as an author trying to get traditionally published, which means that I'm querying literary agents. If there's anything you disagree with, or you have feedback or your own experiences, I welcome you to leave a polite comment below. All right, so first, what are comps? A comparable title, or comp, is a book that's similar to yours that helps agents, editors, and publishers understand where your book would fit in the market. For example, for the adult paranormal horror that I'm currently querying, Chasing Ghosts, one of my comps is The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Kist. I think that's how you say her name. You typically want 2 or 3 comps, and they go in your query letter. We'll talk about what this might look like in a minute, so keep watching. Next, why do you need comps? There are a couple of reasons. The first is that agents and publishers, if you're querying them directly, ask for comps. Again, they want to know where in the market your book fits. We need these professionals to be able to determine if our books have a place in the market so that they will feel more confident that they can go out and sell them. If they think they can sell your book, you're in much better shape. The second reason is just as important, and this is the part that I really didn't take seriously and embrace until recently, to be honest. You need comps to help you write the right story better. Again, I'm speaking as an author trying to get an agent, but I would argue that this is important for any author who wants to sell books, whether traditionally published or self-published. You have to know where you fit in the market, because knowing that will help you determine that there is indeed a hungry audience for your book. Let's say, and I'm completely making this up, but let's say I write a sci-fi fantasy Western romance gothic mashup about an alien king who falls in love with a Denny's waitress. The story might be brilliant, but if it doesn't have a spot in the market next to books that are somewhat similar in some way, it's all a moot point. I'm noodling on new ideas for my next book, and whereas in the past I wrote my manuscripts and then looked for comps for my query letter, this time around I'm looking at possible comps first to better understand these various submarkets and what's selling in them. That brings me to my next point. How do you find comps? There are probably infinite ways. Personally, I poke around Google, Amazon, Goodreads, and Publishers Marketplace to find recent books similar to what I wrote, or in the case of my next project, what I'm considering writing. I will search a variety of terms. For example, for my next book, I don't want to write another straight up fantasy. I'm already writing fantasy. I'm considering what I guess you could call paranormal romance, occult, magical realism, dark romance, gothic romance. These are the terms I'm playing around with. ChatGPT is another good one. I know we're not supposed to use AI, not supposed to talk about AI. AI is the devil, but get off your high horse, because I'm not talking about using AI to create anything. I'm talking about using it for research. This is one use of AI that I am totally okay with, because it has allowed me to get super hyper specific when I'm trying to find comps. And in some cases, it works much better than a search engine like Google. Sue me. So I played around with, I went into ChatGPT, and I think I asked it something like, what were the top selling, we'll say, gothic romance novels from the last 5 years? And it just gives me a list. I will sometimes buy and read these books. I think that's a great idea and super helpful. Other times I just read summaries and reviews. You can follow this approach for a book you already wrote. I did that as well. And be open to playing around with your searches and maybe getting more specific. It might take some trial and error, so if you don't find anything right away, don't panic. We're going to revisit this idea in a moment, but what you're looking for in a comp is something significant that your book also has. If your book has any tropes, like an enemies to lovers romance, you might look for that in a comp. If your book is a ghost story that takes place in 1950s New Orleans, there is a comp with those same elements. Because we use comps to demonstrate to agents and publishers that there is a place in the market for our books, you want to choose comps that are more recent. I've seen a lot of agents say that we should stick to comps, books that were published within the last 5 years. This was a mistake I made in the past. I know I've used comps that were much older than that. I'm seeing this as kind of a growing trend. Authors using movies, TV shows, and songs as comps. From the research I've done, the consensus seems to be that it's okay to throw in one movie or show or song, but the focus should still be on books, since that is what we're all trying to sell here. So if it were me, I would probably do 2 books and 1 extra, like a song or a movie. Once you have your comps, what do you do with them? Aside from using them to write better, you put them in your query letter. There are different ways you can word this, and also you can put your comps in different parts of your query letter. I've put my comps both in the very beginning and at the very end. Right now, my current query letter that I'm using that has gotten me better results than I've ever had, I open with comps. Those are the first things I mention, unless I'm personalizing the query letter for the agent, in which case that goes first. So my query letter opens with fans of the small town setting of Come With Me, Ronald Malfi 2021, and the deadly secrets of the past in The Haunting of Velkwood, Gwendolyn Kist 2024, will enjoy Chasing Ghosts, an adult paranormal horror complete at 76,000 words. There are a couple of things that I want to call out here. Number 1, I specified what the similarity is. In the case of Come With Me, it was the setting. I call out why my book is similar to that comp. We'll come back to this in a minute as well. Number 2, I include the author and the year. This makes the comp more identifiable and also immediately confirms that it's recent. Let's talk about a couple of problems authors commonly run into when they're looking for comps. One thing a lot of authors say is, I can't find any books that are similar to my own. Here's the good news. It's very likely that you're either not looking hard enough, or you're looking in all of the wrong places, or you're looking the wrong way, which means there are comps out there for you. A comp is not a book that's exactly the same as yours. That would actually be a red flag, because why are you writing what's already been written? Rather, a comp is simply similar to your book in some way. Now, it does need to be something bigger. For instance, you don't want to use a book as a comp because the female protagonist has blonde hair and your female protagonist also has blonde hair. That's irrelevant to the plot. It doesn't tell agents anything about where your book fits in the market. Let's go back to one of my comps, Come With Me. I call it that my book has a very similar setting. What it shares in common with The Haunting of Velkwood is that my book also involves going back into the past to uncover and explore secrets that led to death. My book is not Come With Me. It's not The Haunting of Velkwood. They just have something big in common, and they are in very similar genres. That's another thing. I wondered if we could pick a comp that has something in common with our books, but in a different genre. Ultimately, I settled on no, I wouldn't do this, because one trick to finding comps that I've heard a lot is to imagine where your book would sit on the shelves inside bookstores. What books would be next to it? Books in your genre. I can't imagine that the small town setting of Come With Me would be relevant if that book were a rom-com. So hopefully that eases some of the pressure. You don't want or need a book identical to your own. You want a comp that has something significant in common. The second common problem is the same thing but for different reasons. Some authors say, well, my book is so original that there are no comps. Number 1, you're probably wrong, and number 2, this is not the flex you think it is. I'm going to repeat again, I'm speaking to authors like me who want to sell books. If you are writing purely to write and you don't care about, agents or publishers or sales, this advice isn't for you. Otherwise, if you're anything like me, if you wrote a book that you truly believe has no comps, you likely wrote a book that won't sell. Comps ideally prove that a book has an audience. Comps demonstrate that something similar to what you wrote has been done before, and it's been tested, and it's been proven successful. It's not a good thing that you can't find comps. I feel like personally, more than likely there are comps out there. So few ideas, if any, are 100% original these days. So few plots are truly original. What's original is the spin that we put on these already written ideas. This is not a bad thing, by the way. Anyhow, I've heard this from agents a zillion times. If you put in your query letter that you don't have comps because nobody has ever done what you've done, they will immediately pass. Bye-bye. Okay, so we should all want comps. We should all love comps. Embrace comps. Comps are good. As recently as the book I'm currently querying, comps were something I rushed through and just generally didn't give enough attention. But now I'm a little bit obsessed with them because I finally understand how instrumental they can be as a tool to write a better book and to pitch it better. I've heard several authors say that they hate having to pay attention to comps because it makes them feel like they are letting the market and the industry dictate what they write and how they write, as opposed to just writing what they love. Personally, I don't feel this way. I do see where they're coming from, and I do agree that you need to write what you love, but I think that there is more than enough room to write a book that you love that also fits somewhere in the market. Okay, I think there's room for both. I don't think you have to pick one or the other. Both can be true. So all in all, the point is, I don't think comps are something to be feared or dreaded. I think that they are a tool, and they can help us tremendously if we are willing to slow down and take the time to do that research. I know sometimes we get so excited that all we want to do is write as fast as we can and then publish or query or whatever. But this process, it's too hard and it takes too long to cut corners. Like, if you're going to spend all this time and energy writing a book, you might as well give it your all, and part of that is comps. Let me know what you thought of this video. If you have any unique ways that you research comps, any of your personal experiences, I always love to hear them, so just drop me a comment below. And that's it for this time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!